All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none?
Now, we need to take a motion, a second, and a vote to adopt the minutes from the last executive session, which were January 28th, 2026.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. Motion was made by Councilman Coleman, seconded by Councilman, I believe, Piccini.
Bradley.
Bradley. We'll do a roll call. Councilman Coleman.
Yes.
Councilman Bradley.
Yes.
Councilman Piccini.
Yes.
Councilman Magnuson.
Yes.
Councilman Zuccosi.
Yes.
Councilman Coleman.
Yes.
Councilman Haber.
Yes.
Councilwoman O'Toole.
Abstain.
So now, I'm going to read a couple new items into the record. We're going to pause.
Before you do that, Mayor, would you please comment how we got here and what is going on? And the basic form, please.
Yeah, and the attorney is also here, the affordable housing attorney is also here. Most of these ordinances that you're about to vote on, they put in, am I correct, Mr. Zangaro? They put in the zoning in place for the affordable housing plan that was approved a few months ago. And another one of these is because, yeah, go ahead, please, Mr. Zangaro.
Turn the mic up closer.
Take it off the stand.
You gotta almost speak right into it.
Pull.
Now? Okay. I was before you in December of 2025. I'll just run through the process for the benefit of the public and for yourselves. Affordable housing process began in January of 2025 pursuant to a new law that created new deadlines and new procedures. The most immediate deadline at this point, after a year and 2 months of this process, is reaching the March 15 statutory deadline for putting into place all the ordinances necessary to effectuate your affordable housing plan. Over the last year, what we crafted, and by we I mean the professionals, with the consultation of the council and the planning board, came up with a plan that achieved their fair share obligation for the next 10 years of affordable housing obligations, 25 through 35, through largely the preservation of affordable units in the municipality. Why is that important? Well, the amended Fair Housing Act itself recognizes that preservation of units is absolutely essential to protecting affordability in New Jersey. So the township came up with a plan that largely relied upon the preservation of units. There were multiple developers that were engaged in working out ways to achieve affordability through preservation. There were also other mechanisms, the creation of overlay zones that would capture affordable housing through other mechanisms. We have to put into place by March 15th all the necessary zoning. What happened in what's before you is really broken up into two categories. The ordinances that are necessary to effectuate our zoning. And separately, there's a question as to one of the preservation projects we have received substantial pushback from the developer. It's a very unfortunate situation. There's an aggressive tactic being taken, and to protect the municipality in order to get to the March 15th deadline, which is not of our choosing, municipalities across New Jersey were given 3 months to enact ordinances to close up the process. We have proposed a route, which has been evaluated by professionals, to get us across the finish line and fill the gap of this project that's giving us problems. And the way to do that was to create the opportunity for a 100% project on Route 9 at property that's identified in your ordinances. Now, Why 100% affordable? Well, 100% affordable projects, there are special bonuses that are created by the legislature for these type of projects. They double the amount of credits if you do a 100% affordable project. And so basically, it allows us to fill the gap through this mechanism. So it's really a two-part, sort of two buckets that are before you today. One, we're here as we had envisioned to put into place the zoning necessary, and two, we are here to protect the municipality should one of these preservation projects fall through. I'm happy to answer any questions, but that is the general parameters of what we're here to accomplish. And there are municipalities across the state who do the very same thing. I turned down 4 meetings today to be here. We have everyone right now, every municipality is trying to meet in the next 2 weeks, really honestly this week, to make notice requirements in order to get the zoning in place, the mechanism in place.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Mr. Attorney, do I need to ask the public if they have any questions on this testimony?
I think that's each,
Not on first reading, right? I'm sorry. First reading.
yeah,
There will be.
Thank you, counsel.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Clerk,
All right.
first one.
When we're ready, I'm going to read them into the record by the titles. The first one we're going to call number 11. This is ordinance of the Township of Toms River. An ordinance implementing site-specific and area-specific zoning provisions to effectuate the Township of Toms River's fourth round housing element and fair share plan as amended by the settlement structure approved through the Affordable Housing Dispute Resolution Program. This is a first reading of an ordinance. We need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Coleman, seconded by Councilman Aber. Councilman Coleman,
Yes.
Councilman Aber,
Yes.
Councilman Bradley,
Yes.
Councilman Bianchini,
Yes.
Council Vice President Iverson,
Yes.
Council President Zikosi,
Yes.
and Councilwoman O'Toole.
Yes.
The next is resolution. Hang on, sorry. We're going to call this item number 12. It's an ordinance for the Township of Toms River to amend Section 348-11, Article 11, Affordable Housing Provisions with revised regulations pursuant to newly enacted regulations at NJAC 599 and NJAC 5:80-26.1 et sec. Uniform Housing and Affordability Controls. This is a first reading of an ordinance.
Make a motion, move it. Second.
Motion was made by Council Vice President Iverson, seconded by Councilman Coleman. Council Vice President Iverson,
Yes.
Councilman Coleman,
Yes.
Councilman Bradley,
Yes.
Councilman Bianchini,
Yes.
Council President Zikosi,
Yes.
Councilman Aber,
Yes.
Councilwoman O'Toole.
Yes.
Item number 13 is a resolution of the Township of Toms River acknowledging its participation in the Affordable Housing Dispute Resolution Program and committing to future implementation actions to implement its fourth round affordable housing plan.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Coleman, seconded by Councilman Aber. Councilman Coleman,
Yes.
Councilman Aber,
Yes.
Councilman Bradley,
Yes.
Councilman Bianchini,
Yes.
Council Vice President Iverson,
Yes.
Council President Zukosi,
Yes.
Councilwoman and Councilwoman O'Toole.
Yes.
Item number 14 is a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River approving a settlement agreement with 2008 Route 37 Associates LLC pursuant to the Township's mediation before the Affordable Housing Dispute Resolution Program under docket number OCN-L-331-25.
Motion.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Coleman, seconded by Councilman Aber. Councilman Coleman,
Yes.
Councilman Aber,
Yes.
Councilman Bradley,
Yes.
Councilman Bianchini,
Yes.
Councilman Nielsen,
Yes.
Council President Zukosi,
Yes.
and Councilwoman O'Toole. Item number 15 is a ordinance, it's a first reading, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, an ordinance designating certain properties as an affordable housing overlay zone with the MF16 multifamily zone designation to provide a realistic opportunity for the construction of low and moderate income housing.
Motion.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Coleman, seconded by Councilman Aber. Councilman Coleman,
Yes.
Councilman Aber,
Yes.
Councilman Bradley,
Yes.
Councilman Bianchini,
Yes.
Councilman Nielsen,
Yes.
Councilman Zukosi,
Yes.
and Councilwoman O'Toole.
That's for me.
And the last one, we're calling it item number 16, is a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River supporting an alternative fourth round affordable compliance mechanism.
Motion.
Motion was made by Councilman Coleman, seconded by Councilman Aber. Councilman Coleman,
Yes.
Councilman Aber,
Yes.
Councilman Bradley,
Yes.
Councilman Bianchini,
Yes.
Council Vice President Nielsen,
Yes.
Council President Zukosi,
Yes.
and Councilwoman O'Toole.
Can I just make one statement before we move on? I just want to thank Council President Jacosi for taking the lead on this and making sure that we can get this through so we can protect the town. It's a tremendous opportunity we have here. I also want to thank Council for really explaining it quite well so we all can understand what's going on. Unfortunately, it's not one of those state deals, but we have to do it to protect our town, and I just want to thank the entire council for supporting these ordinances. Thank you.
Council President, might be recognized as well.
Yes. Go ahead.
Again, I would just want to echo Councilman Coleman's statements and go on to say that I was glad that we were all able to put aside our differences to do what's best for the town. At the end of the day, that's what each of us got involved in this for. Had we not had a plan in place, as many of you know, the state was initially asking us to do over 1,700 units, 670, and then another 1,100 for the gap period. Those units, if they were built at the normal ratio of, 80-20, you'd be talking about 7,000 or 8,000 new apartments all over this town. What we did together, this council and the prior council, we averted a major shift in quality of life for our residents and urbanization. And I'm glad that we all were able to work together. Thank you.
Okay, if we're ready, we'll move on to elected officials' comments.
Let's go with the public comments first and the elected officials last, please. And then the mayor.
I'm gonna run. I don't feel so well. I've been sick all day, and I'm gonna run, so, thank you for recognizing me. Good night, everyone.
He doesn't want to listen to you.
Just take the mic right out and just pull it out. Not on. It doesn't matter because it's not even being broadcasted to the town. Not on.
Can I see that?
Is it on now?
Yeah.
Okay. This is directed also to Mayor Roderick, who's running out now. My name is Dawn Corbett-Iverson. I live at 1520 Silverton Road, Toms River, New Jersey. I have been married to Councilman Thomas Iverson for almost 20 years. I'm up here to clear the record. The mayor stated tonight that I placed restraining orders on my husband, and that is false. I have never called the police on my husband. There is no domestic violence in my household. The flyers and text messages that the mayor sends out to defame my marriage is despicable. My whole family is a victim to this slander. If you have to play that dirty to win an election, that's pretty sad. And I want to tell Danny to play nice in the playground, because this is not fair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Phil Brilliant, 79 Holly Tree Lane. Thank you. Couple of questions, Council President. So one is, and I guess Council can advise, so there was no agenda posted, I guess just some concerns. Are we being compliant tonight with the Open Public Meeting Act with everything that's required under statute and law?
I don't know, and I had the same thoughts about these ordinances that were read at the end. It was the first.
I can speak about the Council
Let me
President.
finish.
Okay.
It was the first time that we saw them and being read to us, and you could tell by my body language, I'm not happy at all. But go ahead, please.
I was going to speak in reference to the Open Public Meetings Act. This meeting was noticed in the beginning of the year. It was never canceled. As far as the agenda being published, there was back and forth. It's a very similar agenda to the last agenda, and it'll be up tomorrow by the afternoon once we get everything up.
And I'll make a comment on that, that just if all of those ordinances and the resolutions and everything can be up in a timely manner, I would say, only because we are 14 days away from the next meeting.
Yeah, of course.
You know, so just, you know, not 30 days, 40 days, 14 days. And it appears, based upon what council said, that this was really a meeting that had to happen. Because, you know, you have a short period of time to get these ordinances that you're producing tonight. So I guess I'm just, why would this meeting not have happened? I mean, I understand, well, let me ask a question. I don't understand why the building was closed today and been closed the past 2 days when almost everything has been operational around town. I'm not quite sure. And again, great deal of respect for our staff. And I don't know if Mr. Chabot can answer the question as to why, if Council President Cozy allows him, why the building was closed today.
Would you like to answer that?
Yeah, it was at caution. We had ice and snow forecasted. They were kind of on the verge. We also had 6,000 residents this morning without power. So that's why.
So I guess with that statement though, wouldn't it be the best thing for the residents to have somewhere to call, somewhere to go, if they need assistance, than closing down their source of information? If they need help, if they need something, I understand they go to JCP&L and all that stuff for power, but as the governing body here in town, I would think they want to rely on, you know, their people. And I guess the other question is this going to be, you know, every time we have forecasts for snow on Thursday and ice, is the building going to be closed every time we have those forecasts? No. And then just a comment out also, council rules which were approved on January 1st, you know, states that every time in there that the mayor interrupts
It's supposed to be noted in the minutes. I think it would be almost impossible for Mr. Hensel to get every notation, but I think it is something that is in the rules and should end up in those minutes. Put that on the record. It also says all council meetings are supposed to be recorded and live streamed. I asked the question earlier tonight, why didn't that happen tonight? I think that's something.
I don't have a clue.
Yeah, but it's a violation of the rules that were set forth by this council. I think that needs to be investigated as to why that has not been adhered to.
My hands are tied. I ask all the time that these, sarcastically, I say, hey, is the electric bill paid? Are the lines plugged in? And I get no answer. And it was just like before, when they had, before they would shut our mics off. If we try to speak before, and it continues, and it will always continue. There's nothing that we can do to stop this.
I do think it's something that needs to be addressed. I'm not one that would be willing just to kick the can down the road, but it is something, and whether it's council that needs to get involved or other council, I think it is something that this council needs to handle. Also in there, it talks about conflict of interest on votes. I credit Mr. Aber. He had abstained tonight from voting on my reappointment. Mr. Coleman did vote, however, and voted against it. I would like to ask if Council President would oblige. I'd love to know why the vote was no.
Do you want to answer? Go ahead.
I'd also like to ask the same question to Mr. O'Toole, who also voted no.
I don't even know if she's still on the line. I don't even think so. Hello? No, she's gone.
Okay, can I say something? Towards to Mr. Brilliant, I have a crazy theory why the building was closed. Because Roger wanted to limit attendance to this meeting. And that's why he ran out, because he doesn't want to hear it. If he was that sick, he wouldn't have been, he wasn't sick about a half hour ago and he was screaming. Okay?
Understood.
And, come on, Drew. Ice? Seriously?
Kids went to school.
Come on.
Yeah, school's open, right?
You closed the building because of the icing this morning? We all know why you closed it, because Daddy told you to close it.
Whatever you say.
Yeah. Thank you. You're right. You're right. Keep smiling all the way to the bank.
Yes?
That look, Mr. Smiley there. All the way to the bank. That's why he's always smiling.
Julie Adamick, 69 Cedar Grove Road in Toms River. I wanted to talk about the grant that was approved by the state DOT for Etkin Avenue and Charles Drive in mid-November, for over $400,000. It's also supposed to include Pheasant Lane. And I had reached out to the engineer to find out about an update on where this grant stands as far as being assigned to engineers, and I've gotten no response. To me, that's just unacceptable. I think this administration is just trying to block this moving forward, but these roads are in deplorable shape, and I challenge anybody to drive down these roads and to say anything different about these roads. This grant was approved, and it needs to be moving forward because engineering has to happen and surveying needs to happen. So the mayor, if he's actively blocking this thing again, and blocking anything else that I bring forward that are legitimate complaints in this town, that's just outrageous. Number two, he was saying that you guys do not answer your phones. What I would challenge him is he's the head of town hall, and acting business administrator is in charge of the building also. When you call town hall, the personnel do not answer the phone. Your calls go to voicemail. That's really totally unacceptable. I could see that as happening on an occasional basis, but the phone should be answered. This is just like any other business. Not 100% of the calls should be going to voicemail. Third, I'd like to talk about the mayor commenting about $40,000 for Phil Brilliant's health benefits for the MUA. Now, that's totally ridiculous because the real amount has been documented in the press, it's been on social media. So the $40,000 actually applies to the mayor and his family benefits. He's the one that's getting $40,000 of health benefits when he is in a school system and his wife works in a school system. So what he's doing is really projecting his health benefits that he's getting from our tax dollars onto Mr. Brilliant, which is totally inappropriate. And we have to think about the car that he is continuing to drive up to Irvington on our dime. That is another thing that has to be addressed. And the last thing that I would like to talk about is we all know that the police staffing needs to be increased. And I'll just give you one example. 2 days ago, in the afternoon, my neighbor's service line got pulled, their electric service got pulled off in their house. The police department had a patrol car there on the street because the lines were hanging down low on the street. And they were there for hours. I would say for probably 8 to 9 hours. My guess is they had to wait for JCP&L to arrive to deactivate that wire, you know, for safety. So the police are really involved in so many types of emergency situations, and if we don't get this staffing up to par, we're going to encounter some kind of major disaster where we really need all staff, policing personnel on board, and are not going to be prepared because we're not going to have the personnel. So it's not a joke. This staffing needs to be improved as far as the police department. So that's all I have to say today. But I would like a response in terms of what's happening with this grant. It should not be sitting there. The money was allocated by the state, and this thing needs to be moving along. These roads are in deplorable shape.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you. Anyone else, please come forward, state your name and your address for the record.
Hi, my name is Lori Kern. I live at 195 Pine River Road.
I'm sorry, ma'am, was it Kern or?
Kern.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. I actually was going to speak directly to Mayor Roderick, so I guess I'll have to speak to everybody, but hopefully you can give me the message. So I don't know where he went, but I'm kind of disrespectful. But anyway, so Mayor Roderick, maybe you can hear me. I'm speaking to you directly tonight. The tone of these meetings is influenced by the person leading them. The mayor's role is to preside and allow the council to deliberate and vote. Over the past 2 years, there have been repeated moments where that boundary has not been respected. My son is here tonight in his Boy Scout uniform working on his citizenship in the community merit badge. He is here to learn how local government functions and how elected officials serve their communities. What he sees from the mayor matters. Leadership is not about control. It is about steadiness. It is about allowing the process to work as designed and setting a tone that reflects respect for the office and for the people it serves. Tonight, a future Eagle Scout is watching how you choose to lead. From this moment forward, you have the opportunity to lead in a way that restores dignity to these meetings and unity to this town. Thank you.
I just have a question. Apparently they're doing a lot of road work in Wortley, and every day I see cop cars blocking the streets off so cars can't go up them, and they're digging up the street and that. I'm not sure what utility it is, but I mean, the streets are looking a mess. Are they gonna get repaved, and who's paying for it?
Well, we introduced a new ordinance that was called curb to curb. So the utility companies have to dig up the street and they have to repair it.
I'm not even
So
sure
who's
who's
doing
doing
the work?
I have no idea.
the township, our engineers here, maybe he can
John's
answer.
right behind you.
And the other thing, I've been complaining about, Trenton Avenue on the Ortley side, because half of it's Ortley and half of it's Lowell. The Ortley side is a mess. It's all dug up, and they've done nothing about it, so I'm just curious with what's going on there, so.
Okay.
John, yeah, John.
I can speak on the other matter as well, but regarding the trenches, American Water is doing a lot of work out there on the island. This was something that we started talking about after Labor Day last year, that after things wrapped up with the busy season and things started to die down, that they were gonna start doing pretty much the remainder of the old water mains out there, and a lot of service lines on certain roads as well. So it's getting trenched up pretty good. Oh yeah, they are, it's actually a great thing. Once they're done, we're gonna get curb to curb on a vast number of streets out there. So it's gonna be well done, but of course we have to be patient, because right now they're still working on the water mains. As a matter of fact, one of the foremen and one of the representatives of American Water was kind enough to reach out to us during the last snowstorm and offer some support, since they had so much equipment out there to help us with the snowstorm. So the work continues. It's going to continue through the winter season, and typically the standard of practice is once the surface temperature of the asphalt hits about 40 degrees, that's when the asphalt plants reopen. That's when paving begins, outside of a major emergency. So rule of thumb, when it's, teens and 20 degrees out, there's not gonna be any paving, outside of maybe a little cold.
We got a ways to go.
And John and I do work very closely and very aggressively, making sure that the utility companies fulfill their contractual obligations.
And what about Trenton Avenue? You know what's going on there?
I know they're doing dozens, that may be just one of the roads that they're doing.
That's been
Yeah.
a mess for years.
Years.
Oh, yeah.
Then it
Now,
should-
John, you're gonna actually allow them to wait a sufficient amount of time, so that they'll try, for summer, because, with this cold weather, and a lot of that material is gonna be frozen, and whatever the case may be.
Right,
If you
right.
leave it right in the springtime, it's all gonna settle in summertime, when it's happening, so even if they get a nice piece, wait to the top and it settles a little bit, I think it'll be better for the homeowners in the springtime,
to
or
give
the
it
fall.
a break, but it still shouldn't be left in
No.
deplorable
Yeah,
condition.
no.
I mean, it should be brought up to the surface, and yeah, it's gonna look unsightly with seeing the trench work and the patches, but after the settlement period passes, and hopefully it's not in the middle of summer, they're gonna have to go back, mill the whole top 2 inches off and put 2 inches back, and then you'll have a nice smooth bend from curb to curb. The entire length of that trench should disappear.
I was just curious
So-
because you had it all done after Sandy, because we were a mess over there, and so I just want to check. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so anywhere they trench it up, they are gonna be redoing it. Only in instances where maybe there's one emergency repair, that might be an oddball situation, but if you got a long trench, you could count on it.
Okay,
They're gonna
thank
get
you.
done.
Thank you.
Do you want me to speak on the other matter that Julie brought up while I'm here?
Yeah, break up the grant.
Yeah, so with regard to that, Julie and I had an exchange probably mid-January or such about those 3 roads that we applied for and got a grant. And we landed a very good grant, over $400,000 to do those 3 roads. So compared to our neighbors, we weathered it pretty well comparatively with the grant monies that's dished out by the DOT. So at the end of the day, when we get the award letter in November, that's when the clock starts. You got 2 years from the date of that letter where you have to survey, design, bid, get the approval from the DOT, of course, and then authorize the award after bidding to a contractor. So within a 2-year time frame, all that the DOT is concerned with is, did you or did you not award it to a contractor yet? They don't want to hear excuses. So everything between November, whatever date it was of that letter of last year, and 2 years from then, 2027, it's on us.
Okay.
So we have to do the design. Well, our consultants, they're gonna put it together, they gotta do the survey, they gotta provide the DOT all the specifications to their satisfaction. So that
This
legwork
work
has
is
to
in
begin.
progress.
It is going to be, we got a proposal, we have to authorize.
Okay,
So,
steady on.
one last thing that I'd like to ask you, John, is, I know you did a lot of pavement of the streets in Toms River, numerous amounts of streets, and the resurfacing.
So,
Those are on a maintenance, performance bond, correct, for 2 years?
there's usually 2 year.
The only reason I'm saying is because some of the streets that were newly paved, being that the winter has been as harsh as it's been, I hate to tell you, when you go out there in the springtime, you may be having some bigger issues than you think of, because some of them looked almost as bad with the reflective cracking already coming through with the freeze thaw. So I'm just letting you know that a lot of these streets, I know it's a big hurry to get through them and pavement, just do a cosmetic, quote unquote, surface, overlay on it.
We're milling and surfacing.
Yeah, but you're gonna see that a lot of those patches and everything are starting to bubble through the surface course now, and I think that before we let people go off on these maintenance bonds, that we, you know, because I don't want to turn around and say, oh, well, you know, that's because you had a bad winter, or whatever. We're paying for these roads to be there for a good 12 to 20 years, not 2 years, 3 years.
Agreed.
So I'm just telling you, because a lot of people in Shelter Cove will call me up and ask me already, and I said, look, let's revisit this.
Yeah, let's look at it in April.
Yep, in April.
Try those roads in April and see how they're holding up.
Yep, that's what I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of it, because, you know, it's out of sight, out of mind, but guess what, when all the snow clears and the people are outside doing yard work, they're gonna say, what happened, I thought this road was just bad, it doesn't look like that.
Yeah, it should hold up.
I hear you.
You'll see that.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, John, thank you.
guys.
Who's next, please? Yes, sir.
Hello, Tony Ridley, 1850 Hooper Avenue. I'm not sure if you're aware, but in Toms River, all 3 high schools have one hockey team. And they made the state playoffs, so they played their last game last Thursday and they won. But if you lose, you're out. So their next game is scheduled for tomorrow. But they haven't been able to practice all week because the parking lot was never plowed at the rink. And tonight they're practicing at the gymnasium at the high school. And I just think that's disgusting. I think it's terrible. And I'd like to know why the parking lot wasn't plowed at Barnum River.
Wasn't done today, should have been done today.
Took 2 days to plow the parking lot. Was it forgotten? I heard it was forgotten.
Priority is first the roads.
I understand that.
Which was going on, and still we were in different areas today.
I thought all the roads were plowed by Monday.
What was that?
I thought all the roads were plowed by Monday.
They were passable by Monday, yes. Yeah, but still, you got corners you gotta push back, all that stuff, all this safety stuff so the kids can actually get to school. And then today, all the parking lots were done.
Well, in my neighborhood, there wasn't a plow after Monday. And even around my business, there wasn't a plow since Monday. So I think you should drive by 1850 Hooper Avenue and see the mess there is on the side streets, because if you said they cleaned it up yesterday, I don't think they did. So I just think they failed the ice rink. These kids have to play a state game tomorrow, which thank God they delayed it till Friday because the parking lot wasn't plowed, with no practice. I think that's disgusting. And I don't like complaining, but that's really wrong. That's terrible. I hope you guys have a good night. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. Tony Virgil, 20 Rico Avenue. As far as Clifton Avenue, have we gotten any paperwork back from the state about asbestos?
I don't know.
I mean, we
haven't
put
received
people on the moon in
anything.
3
Maybe
less
the
time.
council attorney can make a comment.
Township engineer's waving his hand back there.
What does that mean?
Still got an answer.
You got an answer?
I don't know. You want back up?
Because I did my own investigation.
Well,
The mayor-
let's see what you have to say
Let me
first.
finish what I'm gonna say. Last time the mayor said about shingles, the minute shingles are hit with a machine, they become friable. They go from non-friable to friable, which means they're in the air. So either, he doesn't know what he's talking about, and I'm sorry he left, I would have told him that. But it seems like everything's getting shoved under the carpet on this deal. That's all I'm asking. No, there's no paperwork unless you have answers, John.
John, yeah, I'll do, you know, I'll offer whatever I have. So, quick and dirty on Clifton Avenue is this, okay? As you know, there was an incident in October, in late October, where one of the homes that had the asbestos shingles had been demolished. EPA, Department of Labor, Department of Health, all these different agencies swarmed and it was shut down. We were directed to fence off the property. We did it initially with silk fence. That wasn't good enough. We wanted chain link or something more significant for security. We did the whole chain link. We wanted it watered. We got the water. We got the permits. We worked with Veolia. We got that all done. They wanted us to retain a qualified contractor on their short list. We retained the contractor to finish the abatement and everything. They wanted someone who's on the short list that was qualified to oversee the contractor that was qualified to do the work. We did it. We did everything we were asked to do. That the Department of Labor, Department of Health, EPA, and all these other agencies, some of them regional, some of them county, that they were all coming down. It was kind of like a synchronized thing. And it all shut down. Nobody was allowed back on the property from the town, right? Over the course of the next 3+ months, more than 3 months, there was a bit of an arm wrestling thing going on how to rectify the situation. At one point, they were trying to say that anywhere that there wasn't already, where an open area in the middle of the site, they wanted to excavate 6 inches or more, which was more than 1.5 acres of land. The houses were 1,500 square feet. So it seemed a little excessive, but you know, we had a couple back and forths. As part of that dialogue, we had samples done, both air and soil samples. They were sent to a lab. They were done by a qualified consultant, not by us. We weren't even allowed back to the property or in the property. Samples, not only did they meet the standards and the parameters that would be required to be deemed clean by the state and the EPA, that there was no trace whatsoever, zero, not even a hint of it in any of the samples taken. So that's a good thing. We should all be happy about that. It came back clean, thank God.
That's the dirt.
Right?
The dirt, right?
Yes.
Okay. How about all the dumpsters that were taken off site, and all the material that was driven down the street when the demolition was going on, and the people that were exposed to it that live in the community? I mean, we're not talking about the dirt, we're talking about the actual material during the
It's in
removal.
the landfill. I can't speak on
What I'm getting
what
at,
already happened.
there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. I'm not talking about the dirt, because it had a basement, everything was actually right there on site in that basement there.
Right.
If you had-
And now it's encapsulated with the ice and the snow
So,
multiple
but, yeah,
times.
which is fine, but I wasn't concerned as
Right
much
now,
about the
the
dirt.
site
I'm
is-
worried about everything that happened before
Yeah, I
the
can't
Calvary.
speak on-
Well, that's the problem, John.
Right.
You're the engineer for the town.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing for nothing. That's unacceptable for you to sit there and tell me, I don't know. If you don't know, how should anyone else know?
I know that things were trucked out and that they went to the
By a
landfill.
state licensed,
What are you talking about, John? I saw the DPW guys taking cans out. What do you weren't there. I was there.
I was there, hold on a second.
Yeah, would you go there after the Calvary showed up? I can't believe that
No,
you're
I was
a
there.
chairman, you don't know the first thing about asbestos removal, and you're gonna tell me about construction and asbestos removal? The city, the township engineer just got done saying he don't know. If the engineer don't know, how's the lawyer? And you're supposed to represent us?
I said I can't speak on
Exactly.
what you're saying.
I know,
in
because no
regard
one
to the
can.
row and-
Nobody can. Nobody can. And none of the other properties that was done, nobody can talk about it. That's the problem.
Okay, may I finish?
Yeah, finish up.
They were, the EPA and the Department of Labor, Department of Health, and everybody finally came to a consensus on what was an acceptable work plan. That only happened weeks ago. So it's now done. It was drafts getting kicked back and forth for a while. So now it's been formalized. And now, once the snow clears and the ice clears, we're gonna finish the rest of
What is
the.
that plan briefly? What did we settle?
We're going to be excavating not only where the homes were, but about a good 15 feet beyond that, and the front yards and driveways to them. It's gonna be excavated 6 inches.
At one location?
Oh, no, that whole frontage of both where both of the homes were. Even though the other home didn't have any evidence, we're treating it as if it were, we're taking an ultra-conservative approach, which is what the EPA and the Department of Labor wants us to do. Even though everything's clean, they want us to be ultra-conservative and make sure, and then God forbid we have any evidence. There are some piles still out there, they're covered under the snow, but it's rubble. It's all gonna be trucked out this time, rather than just do a regular Ocean County landfill to a qualified place. Most of the trash, thank God, that was removed, the demolition debris, to my understanding, was not asbestos, but in hindsight, because there was no survey in advance, there's no evidence of that. That's the
I have
problem.
pictures, just so you know, I have pictures of that was the demolition was done. And when the township did the demolition, they didn't even know what they were doing. They had a bunch of novice people doing demolition. A person that comes and does the demolition that are professionals, before they start, they remove all the asbestos from the building, the flooring, the shingles, the roof, anything that has asbestos. And then what they do is they take it piece by piece, they separate the wood, they separate the concrete, and they take that to different locations. This place was imploded. You know what it was? A bunch of young guys that were told to go take the building down there, truck it away in tandems. The poor guys that were on the equipment that worked for the town were out there with no PPE, no protection, told to go out there, and nobody showed up until everybody in the county showed up. That is ludicrous that we're sitting here in the year 2026, as much money that people pay for it, and acting like there was nothing done. Like, there was no, it's okay. And how about all the other sites? And I don't know about the other sites, but there was, maybe you told me or someone else told me, there was 18 other sites in Toms River they took buildings or structures. I don't know. I wasn't part of it. But, you know, government should be open and transparent. And guess what? I'm getting a little bit nervous here because it seems like, you know, we're getting told little drips and drabs, but we're not getting, maybe you don't know the full story, but you are the city engineer.
Yes. And I know that there were some of those other properties that were done, the chicken coops and barns and such, thank God they weren't insulated and
Well,
such.
let's
Hopefully.
just stay on this topic.
I don't know either.
John, let's just stay on this topic.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Can I finish? I got one.
Yes.
On local reports, how long do we have to wait to get answers?
Your guess is as good as mine.
According to state law, it's 7 days.
They
What do we do if it goes
They
to
do
3
what
weeks,
they want to do.
4
here.
weeks, 5 weeks?
Here.
That's not true, there's very strict regulations. You can
Yes,
ask for
sure.
extensions, you can ask for
Listen.
extensions.
I understand what you're telling me. I'm asking him. All right.
Well, your question is, we hear this all the time. Everything is redacted, it doesn't come, it's ignored, they say no information exists.
There's no
Whatever the
transparency
reason,
anywhere.
it's just like the telephones, nobody answers.
And how many lawsuits do we have today against the town?
A lot.
10, 20, 30?
I don't know.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
I'm able to walk now. Good. It's good news. I just want to.
Name and address, please, sir.
Phil Kogo, 161 Walnut Creek Lane, proudly in Toms River, New Jersey. Again, I just want to put something out there for our emergency services, our police, fire, and EMS. Over these last 2 storms, unfortunately, I did have an opportunity to have to use some of those services. And they're the best of the best. And I really think that, you know, they were looking at it, just owe them thanks. Our fire departments this weekend basically had crews at each of their buildings overnight, volunteer fire departments. They left home to be covering for us. So they were out there. And like I said, our EMS for the PD. So again, just offer that up. At the same time, for our public works employees, they take a lot of heat. Everybody that's in service takes heat. This was a major storm. the folks out there doing it were doing everything and anything that they could, so I laid that out, you know, publicly. Unfortunately, I can't put it on YouTube, it's not there, but, I want that out there. I have two requests also for the council. One, you know, I'm still an advocate for ADA, and I'd like you to look, if it's not in the books and the records, if we could put an ordinance out to piggyback the ADA, that a property with ADA compliant parking spaces, that the center spaces, the ones that are striped out for the vans and or those I could talk in this, walkers and canes, that they be cleaned up when they do their parking lots. Because a lot of places around are going, they're doing sidewalks and that, and unfortunately, it's very difficult for ADA folks to get from where they parked, because even that is not that clear, to the parking lot. So if you could look at it, maybe put an ordinance and something out there to make them aware of it, and that they should be doing that. That's second nature with cleaning the parking lot. The other thing I'd like to ask for, you saw a scout here tonight. I know his mother had spoke a little bit. I watched that scout from when he was about this high as a Cub Scout, and he grew up, matured very well. He's working on his MERP badges, citizenship in the community. So he's gonna go out there and do a report. But along those lines, February is the scouting anniversary month. And what I'd like to request is that you put out a resolution identifying scouting anniversary month and making due for what the scouts do. They do a whole lot of projects, community service, conservation throughout the township. So if you could put that out there, I think that's something nice, something positive. And hopefully that even helps take away some of the, negative stuff. So those are just three quick things for you.
Okay, Joe, thank you.
I appreciate that. And again, everybody keep trying. Let's just try to get together, pull together. Drew, if you work with council, work with Drew, anybody out there, all of you, try to work together. And I think we can get a good thing back to this township. And I care about it. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
I'm here.
All right.
Carlos Adams, R1AM. Got a few things. First is something you guys brought up earlier. There's 3 bills that nobody knows they were paid. President, for next meeting, I would like representative to let us know if those bills were paid before this meeting. There was 3 that you guys said, social media and something else. So we'd like to know if those got paid because they were at the previous agenda, they're not there no more. So if you took it off, that means out of mind, out of sight, it's taken care of. That's that. I'm very, once again, he's not here so we could write comments. Gotta learn how to communicate. Because when you leave, these also your generals and those underneath you will act the same way you act. Councilor Magnuson, I don't know you very well, but I know your family a little bit better. I know, coming from where I come from, you have done a great job raising your family. I seen that because I actually dealt with one of your sons before I even started coming here. So for me, the way I conducted my business with that gentleman and Marty, I know he had to have somebody backing him very well.
Just for the record, could you clarify how you engaged with my son? Just so the public knows.
So I had a dream of helping my community, Toms River, to open a facility to help the town in notary, translation, anything you needed help with. Marty was gracious enough to give me a facility. And that between Marty and I, your son was the intermediate guy. And made it into a wonderful experience. So that's what I was doing. 2, well, that's the second one. The third one is Drew. I know you're a little bit better. You got a difference with some of your councilmen, but this is a business place. You gotta conduct a little better, brother, because sooner or later this rodeo is gonna finish. I know you'll be okay.
It's okay before I get here.
I understand that, but remember, so one thing I have learned in this life is a reputation will always follow us. The way we begin a life might not be the same way we end it. And everything you do, you gotta conduct yourself how will you respect your mother and your father, and most importantly, God. Because everything else we make mistakes. And that's always gonna happen every day. But if you're really doing that job right there, that means that you're supposed to care for the town that your kids are gonna be growing in. The town that my kids is growing in. Because that's what I come here for. I could do 1,000 more things, and you know that, because you've been in the meetings that I ask, and I can make a lot more money. But I keep coming here and putting everything on the line, even my personal, because I know how people come. Because I wanted you guys to see that even from every level, from town, we want you guys to communicate and work together for the future. But you guys are not showing that. This is like a street gang that keep fighting each other for the territory. That's the way I see it. And for me to see that, it's not good, guy. I go to different meetings, not only this
But
one.
Carlos, how long have you been coming here?
I started coming here about 2 years now, sir.
2 years.
And I remember
what's
the first
happened
time.
in those 2 years? Zero.
Zero.
Nothing. So stop, please. It's not going to happen.
Well, we got.
Only one man can change that, and that man is not in this room tonight.
And I know
Okay?
that.
So stop, please. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Only one man can change it, and he's not going to do it.
Dave,
All right?
I have learned in life, you can control the kingdom, but sooner or later it will fall. It's just a matter of time, how long can you last being the king? Now, you can live a dynasty, or you can live a foolish life with full of regrets because you were only for a matter of 5-6 minutes. Life is short, guys. It's been 2 years. I remember the first meeting that I came here, you were sitting right there, and you were being attacked. I remember everything. I'm not the smartest kid, and look at you today. After that meeting, I actually spoke with you, and I understood a little bit of stuff that you were going through. That's why I cannot judge you, and I can't judge none of you guys. But at the same time, I gotta let you guys gotta communicate and work together. Name calling and all this other stuff, it's not working. Let's show them that we're better.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Justin Delaney, Silverton. I had a question earlier today, earlier this meeting, you voted against the consent to make Mr. DeVoe acting business administrator, and it said no one got a copy of his resume.
We didn't vote not having him visited. We were just saying that we don't think he's the
Yeah.
best man for the job.
That's what
all.
I'm getting at. And, so, the other thing is the best man, so there's two things I got about that. One, I come from the mind frame of, if I don't agree with something, and I'm against it, I offer a solution. You guys voted no, he's not the best man for a job, but I didn't see anyone offer up anybody who they think would be good.
How about a resume?
Okay.
Is that asking too much?
No, but then that leads into this, because last month, people voted to hire one of the most politically connected people in Ocean County, Noriko, to a position. Did anyone on the council get her resume to see her qualifications for a position?
Yes.
You get with her resume?
Yes, she turned in the resume.
And was she qualified to do the job? I don't know how you do that, because there was no real job description. We didn't put into a job that was being made. So how do you qualify somebody for a job and you don't even know what they're doing? Just have this man over here scream at him, and it's targeted harassment, and you guys as leaders of the town yelling at him, technically you're creating a hostile work environment for
At who?
an employee of the town.
A hostile work
You're an employee of the town.
Yelling at him?
And you know what? You yell at me like that? I'm coming back at you too.
That's good.
Just like in ShopRite, when you yelled at the Jewish lady and they kicked you out, you don't want to run out of ShopRite.
Oh my God.
She was stealing, I called her
No, she
out.
wasn't stealing, you didn't like that food stamps, it's all in the police report.
No.
You know, because you want, I have it, I'll show you, it's on my phone. You want, I don't want to raise my voice, but if you want to go out with stupid comments, I go all day.
All right.
I'll go all day with you.
How much you getting paid?
I'll go all day.
How much you Roger paying to get out there?
Roger?
Sir.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Zero.
Thank you.
When do you start your job?
I make more money at this town, put off me to work here. So,
Pushing shopping carts?
push a shop, yeah,
All right.
push a shopping
All right,
cart, that shop,
is there
but you're
anyone
not allowed.
else?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're not.
I need a motion to close public comment, please. Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Just for the record, is Councilwoman Toms still online or not?
She left, I marked when she
She's
left.
stealing, right?
Okay.
He's a liar.
All right, okay, now we're gonna move on to council's comments. We'll start down to the right, Mr. Ingram.
Everybody, thank you for coming. It's been a long meeting. I hope you all get home okay tonight. Thank you.
Councilman Coleman?
I really don't know what to say. I pray every night for my wife, but I also pray that someday, somehow, the Lord can pull our country back together. I also pray that our town can get back together. Every night I pray that. And I'll continue to pray that because I would like to see that happen, believe it or not. And that's really all I have to say, except please be safe going home. Thank you.
Councilman Bradley?
Good evening, everybody. So we all know that a pipe burst in Town Hall, and by us deciding to stay with the Ocean County JIF, we saved the town from paying $100,000 in a property damage deductible. So the JIF only charged us $3,500 per incident, and we would have been getting ripped off, so we saved you a lot of money there. I'd like to thank the DPW, TRPD, the EMS and OEM for their hard work during the storm. Also like to thank all the fire departments for their hard work during the storm. They answered a total of 39 calls, and it's pretty hard, you know, even on a normal day. Now you're driving through blizzard conditions. Also like to point out that I know a lot of people say that this town is losing its identity, and it is, but there are still people out there that want to help their neighbors. I was out shoveling with my neighbors, and I saw across the street on Kettle Creek, people were going up and down, helping their older neighbors shovel their whatever they need, sidewalk, driveway, anything like that. So that's nice to see because I know it's been kind of dark. And another thing I'd like to bring up is that the position that we were going to hire Rico for was actually created back on February 11th of 2020. Now, Mayor Roderick was on the council at that time. He was absent for the first reading of it, and he was also absent for them putting it into the salary range. But then on the February 11th meeting, he was present and he did vote for it as well, and he also voted for the salary ordinance that added it in there. So I don't understand why we can't have it. It was a very good position that everybody liked. I've talked to multiple former council people, and it was a great position. It helped out. The public could call that person. They got